YouTube, I'd like you to meet Al, Andy, Nick, Chris and Andrew. Together, we all spent the last 2 months on an expedition in China. Our aim was to climb the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. This is our Everest journey.
So it's currently the morning of the 12th. I'm about to get run over. 10 days after I left the UK, and after numerous delays, visa problems and everything else, we're finally setting off to Lhasa today. Our flight's at noon, the van is just getting loaded up behind me, and well, I suppose this is the start of my second Everest journey. Thank you. We arrived in Lhasa last night and we're staying in what seems to be the poshest hotel in the whole place. It's far nicer than the one last year. I have this morning woke up with an awful cold. I feel absolutely terrible. So hopefully it'll be gone by the time we get to base camp, as I really don't feel like doing anything just now. Today we're going to visit the palace in Lhasa. Well, we've just finished our tour of the palace. You're not allowed to film or video or anything in there, and it was certainly a unique experience. A weed smelling maze, I think, is our best description. We're currently having a wander through Lhasa trying to find some shampoo, and everybody just seems to be staring at my legs. I've got shorts on. I don't think anyone has ever seen hairy legs in this part of the world before. We're currently in our hotel room in Lhasa, and we just had another earthquake, first one this year. I don't know how bad it was, but we could feel the whole hotel shaking. So we're trying to find out where the epicenter was back home, and hopefully it doesn't mean the trip's going to be cancelled. At the moment we have no news. It's a big disappointment. So we just stopped off for our first lunch on the way to Shigatsu, which we're going today. And I think this is by the time I'm going to start losing weight, as our lunch was a plate of rice. And that's very common. Well, that's exactly what we had last year. They just don't seem to give us much food. We have just arrived in Shigatsu, and Shigatsu? The place itself doesn't really seem to have much going for it. It's just grey and dirty, and everyone seems to be living below the poverty line. And hello. I really don't know what to say. There's just rubbish lining the streets. Animals, mainly dogs, definitely haven't been washed in years. So we've just arrived in Tingri, and this is the last place we stayed before we head to base camp. We're going to be here for 2 nights now instead of 1. Everest is somewhere over there behind the clouds. I remember this place not being great last year, so we're staying in a different, we could call it a hotel. So I'll wait and see what it's like. We are heading back to the hotel we stayed at last year for some dinner. We think that's the only place in Tingri that serves edible food. I'm kind of struggling with the Chinese food. All we had for lunch was a bowl of rice, and this morning it was 2 of the saltiest eggs I've ever eaten. So I brought some Tabasco, and hopefully this will make things a little more bearable. Oh my god, this brings back nightmares, yeah. It works! So, last year when we were here, we came into this toilet, and this was easily the worst toilet I've ever been to in my entire life. And we're going to see if it's still as bad.
It's not as bad as the one we stored that area. It's just that there's a lot going on here.
Oh my god, it's been cleaned! Oh, that smell. We've just had our first piece of good news in about 2 weeks. Chris managed to organise transport up to base camp today. So we've got 20 minutes, and then go back, get ready, and then we're heading up. So about an hour after breakfast, not half an hour, the bus finally arrived. I'm now just loading up, and then we're going to head over to base camp. We've just arrived at the Rongbuk Monastery, and that's one last checkpoint. We have to get passports checked, and then we head into base camp from there. We're just about to go and have a look around the Rongbuk Monastery, and we've now got our first view of Everest this year. The top is covered in a little bit of cloud. There's been a massive improvement in the road this year. It's all been completely tarmacked. It took us about probably 5 or 6 hours to get into base camp last year, and we're only taking us just over 2 now. And That's definitely not what I thought driving into base camp on Everest would ever be like, but it's so strange being back here. It feels like yesterday that the earthquake happened. And to be honest, I never thought I'd be here once, let alone twice. And we have come up quite a long way today from Tingru, almost 1,000 meters, and you can really start to feel it in the air. Even just, we climbed up the Rongbuk base here, to the Rongbuk monastery, which is like two ladders, and that instantly gets you out of breath. Well, we've just arrived at base camp. The bus has been having a bit of an issue getting over some of the, well, we call them roads. So we're just walking into our camp now, which is up there. The Sherpas beat us here by a day, so this year they've been really helpful and they've set up all our tents and mess tent and everything. Last year we got here, it was a blizzard, and because everything was delayed, we had to do that ourselves. So that was quite, it was a difficult first day. I've claimed this tent behind me here. So this one is going to be home for the next 2 months. We have our mess tent there. The cook's tent is just the one to the right, the yellow one, and there's everyone else's tent there. One thing I didn't expect when I came last year is how antisocial base camp is. We were kind of camped right in the middle of just the big plateau that is base camp. Then over to my right is the Chinese. Then we have Kerry Cobbler's group over there, Seven Summits group over there, and I've got no idea who that is. And everything is just so spread out, it doesn't seem like anybody wants to make any friends. Well, we've just had our first meal in the mess tent, and now this is always one of my favourite parts, as we get to spend a little bit of time making your tent as homely as possible, as this is going to be home for the next 2 months. Today is our first day at base camp, and we're just going to have a rest day today, and we've got a beautiful morning and the clouds have lifted, so we can finally see the top of the mountain. One thing that's always an issue on these big adventures is the toilet and people going to the toilet, and it's only day 1, 2 and it's already a little bit messy, so we just had a chat from Chris about keeping it clean, and hopefully that continues.
I've just spent a bit of time repositioning the seat so your arse is over the middle of the hole. It gives you a better chance of getting the shit where it needs to be, and the last thing we need is to have a really shitty toilet. Right? Yeah, it's just that, you know, everyone just doing their bit to make life as easy and as comfortable as they're there for a long time, and the last thing we want to be thinking about is who's made the shitty mess in the toilet.
As going to the toilet is always quite a big bone of contention and difficult when we get to altitude, since we have a rest day today, I'm going to play around with my down suit and harness and see if I can kind of rig up an easier way, so when we get high, it just takes a little less time and effort to go to the bathroom. We're about to leave on our first acclimatization walk from base camp today, and just as we're setting off, they're putting up the toilet, the shower tent behind me. So our shower is sorely needed, and hopefully try and grab a quick one after we get back from our walk. One of the first things we've noticed this year compared to last year is just how much warmer it is. Last year base camp was full of glaciers and frozen rivers, and just this year everything's melted, and it's proved a real challenge crossing base camp. So when we get above the North Col, we start taking some dehydrated and just kind of packet food, as it's easier to cook and light to carry. So that's what we're going to sort out now from this massive pile in front of us. Today is the second day of our acclimatization from base camp. We're trying to get up to around 6,000 meters today, which is at the top of that. It's going to be a really long day, I think. We're just on our way back to base camp now, and we got up to just under 5,800 meters today. We thought it was a little higher than it actually was on the watches, and you can really kind of see the big sprawl of base camp now beneath where I am. We just arrived back at base camp, and while we've been away, the Sherpa built this kind of this stone statue behind us, or stone monument. Which we use for something called a puja, which is kind of like a religious ceremony almost, which every team has before they go higher up in the mountain. So we might have ours later today, if not tomorrow, since we have a rest day.
Oh, look at it.
We have just finished with the Puja, and so we have to put things like our ice axe, crampons, kind of our high altitude boots next to this kind of this Puja temple, Puja rock monument they build. And then a monk from the Rongbuk monastery comes up and kind of performs the ceremony or the ritual. And we get blessed, and we have to throw some rice, and I got covered in this flour stuff. So fingers crossed for this year, there's no more hiccups. So tomorrow we are leaving to go to intermediate camp, and then the following day ABC. So today 2 of our Sherpa are going up ahead of us, and they are taking up some of the kit that they need to build our advanced base camp, and kind of all the yak herders are just collecting all the kit and weighing it all behind me just now. There always seems to be a lot of arguing, although none of us have any idea what about. One thing we do have a lot of at base camp is free time, and we'll probably have 10-15 rest days in total down here if the trip kind of goes according to plan. So today, as you can see, my tent is a real mess. The plan is to tidy that up, do a little bit of washing. I've not had a chance to have a shower in just over a week. So it's just coming up to 5 o'clock on our kind of second rest day, I suppose, at base camp. And I think it is amazing. It's one thing you really don't. It's difficult to explain to people just how little you do or can do in days. I sat in the mess tent all day, and you just do nothing. Your brain, you just eat and drink. It's really difficult to just explain how kind of difficult it is to make yourself do anything. I'm quite lucky. I feel okay. One of the guys in our group's unfortunately got quite a bad bug, and I can't imagine how difficult it is for him to try and do anything at this altitude. We've been really lucky so far. The last few days the weather's been a lot warmer than it was last year, and it just made living generally a lot easier. So today is our first, in my opinion anyway, real day of making progress.
Al's feeling a little cold, so he's put his gloves on his feet.
So it looks quite steep.
So our cook very kindly fills up this bag with hot water.
So I'm currently sat at the bottom of the North Col. I'm almost crying. We both did something pretty stupid.
You can see Andrew walking down ahead there.
Oh shit, big crack.